What's up, guys? Let's real quick talk about some different pickup patterns on microphones so that you can make a better decision on what microphone you use for whatever application at your church. So first, the most common and most useful pickup pattern for live music at all is the cardioid pickup pattern, and that's what this is. So a cardioid pickup pattern basically means it just picks up what's in front of it. It's sort of, if you were to draw it out, it's shaped like a heart almost, where the butt of the heart would be back here. And basically what it's demonstrating is as you move around the sides of the microphone, it starts canceling out. So it just picks up what's in front and rejects what's behind. So that's the cardioid pickup pattern. Basically picks up what's in front, doesn't pick up what's behind. And for these, honestly, you can just check out the manual or Google whatever microphone you're using to know what pickup pattern you have if you're not aware. So cardioid, probably the most useful of all of these. Not probably, totally the most useful of all of these. All right, so omnidirectional. So not so useful here, but for the sake of explanation, an omnidirectional microphone. This one is not, but most of the time an omnidirectional microphone is a condenser microphone. And omnidirectional literally means that it is omnidirectional. It picks up everything equally. So that can be good, for a lot of studio applications or, even video sometime, if you were needing to pick up an entire room all at once, things like that. But I don't really have any case study where I would use a omnidirectional microphone live, because it would also be picking up the entire PA system, as well as whatever source, so it would just be a mess. In live sound, you're always wanting to, as much as possible, directly pick up your source and only your source for whatever microphone you're using. All right, so using this one as an example again, this is not, but as an example, a bidirectional. So we talked about ribbon microphones in a previous video. So a ribbon microphone is bidirectional. So what does that mean? Like we talked about in that video, a ribbon microphone is going to pick up from the front as well as the back evenly, but is going to completely reject on the sides because the diaphragm in the microphone is going to be basically vibrating this way, but because of that, it can't vibrate this way. It's a piece of metal, so it is going to pick up the front and back equally and completely reject the sides, so it's basically shaped like a figure 8. So you can also call this figure 8. So then you also have hypercardioid or super-cardioid. Basically, it sounds like what it is. So we talked about cardioid patterns. A super-cardioid is just a tighter polar pattern. It's just a tighter pickup on the microphone where it's going to reject even more. I believe the Shure Beta 58 is a hypercardioid pattern. So it can be used, like a lot of times on drums, if you really want to reject all the bleed and noise. We've used them before on snare drum. Whenever we had a tiny booth and we had just really bad issues with bleed, we used a couple of the Beta 57s in our drum booth for that reason. So basically, again, you have cardioid that's only going to pick up the front or primarily pick up the front. You have supercardioid or hypercardioid that is going to pick up even more of only the front. And you have omnidirectional that's going to pick up everything around it evenly. And then you have bidirectional that's going to pick up just the front and the back and reject the sides. So that's a real quick rundown of the different pickup patterns on a microphone. So again, if you like these basic tips that I've been going through, it'd mean a lot if you hit the link in the description for my new ebook, where I cover all the basics of sound that you actually just need to know. Basically, it's the stuff that I didn't learn early on and I suffered for it later. So when I was out in the real world running sound and I couldn't figure out how something worked or why it wasn't working, it's the things that I wish I knew then so I could troubleshoot a system. There's a reason that professional sound people can walk up to any system in the world and know how it's gonna work, barring a few just weird quirks in it, but we know the basic principles of how sound systems work. So that's what I've covered in this ebook. I've written this with the small churches in mind. For the churches that are like the ones I've served in, where you may be the worship leader and you don't have a dedicated sound team, you just have volunteers that don't know anything about sound, but they're super willing to help and be there, and they just don't have the know-how just yet. So that's who I wrote it for, and like I already said in the other videos, the first 100 downloads are going to be pay what you want with a minimum of $1 because I had to put something in the blank. But so if you want $1, you can pay more. And also I've thrown in all of my free resources as well to go along with it. I genuinely just want to help you, and also it'll of course support the channel, support me, but I genuinely want to help however I can with you guys. So hit the link in the description, check it out. I hope you enjoy it and I hope it blesses you. So I hope that was helpful. That's a quick rundown of the basics of microphone pickup patterns so you can make a more informed decision on what microphone to use and when to use. I'll see you guys in the next one.